Hello all, welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode, where are we, 78? 78, there we go. I'm your host, Bill Dean. Of course, I'm here with my two co-hosts, Little Steven Schwim. We're brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu and myself, and you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you would be so kind. Boys, what are we drinking?
I don't think you should give yourself credit for the production until you can figure out how to turn off that music.
Yeah, but no.
Is it still going?
Says, so Sam,
It was.
The music's off. But so a little behind the scenes. So Sam Wu is fantastic, by the way, and everybody knows this. But so he's set up, and I wish I could show you kind of my computer, and maybe I'll take a photo and I'll upload it. But it's the whole entire rig on how you can view the podcast while you're producing. So it's got toggles and dials and things that I don't even want to touch. So Sam was smart enough to make these little hotkeys, shortcuts. So the first one's the start button, which is our logo, our Hockey on Tap logo, which you can see in the bottom right. Then step one is start, stop recording. And tell me if this is not, it gets boring, because it's actually interesting. Step two.
You've already lost me.
I'm already bored.
Okay. All right. Well, start. Step two is start to stop the stream so people can actually watch it. 3 is playing our intro. 4 is, and it goes from 100%, and then he has it so it steps down, and each time I'm supposed to click a different button. But I do it slower, and I'm also doing both at the same time, which props to Sam. He does this all the time and does it very well. I'm learning, so you can shove it. So what are we drinking? Because I have totally lost this podcast.
Is this an all nightmare podcast? I thought I saw Schwim with one.
No,
I definitely have one.
I know I am. Thanks to our nightmare supplier Schwim over there.
That's me.
Now what are you playing? Jeez Louise.
Sorry, no. I'm trying to copy my link so I can now send it to everybody because I'm doing everything.
Let's play with the music at full blast. Trying to do the
Sam,
podcast.
Sam goes, "You are the worst producer." Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. I mean, that was perfect timing too.
And then I get a text message: "Is John Gibson available in my fantasy hockey league?" So I'm just all over the place. But
there you are.
Go ahead. What are we drinking?
I'm drinking Windlass of Erasmus.
Windlass.
Which I don't know what the hell's. I don't know what Windlass.
It's Windlass.
Windlass, whatever.
Yeah, Windlass is and actually I've seen this on.
Is that what's
it's like
happening?
A mechanism. It's a mechanism that it's heavy. You move heavy objects with it.
Is it like
this one's used to torture people and take their intestines out.
Yeah, that's I think it looks. This is awfully violent. Did we talk about Nightmare on the last podcast about how they're a Phantom Brewery? If anybody knows what a Phantom Brewery is, which I just found out what a Phantom Brewery was.
I think we only touched on
it existed
briefly.
We just talked amongst ourselves.
Yeah, no,
a Phantom Brewer. So first of all, we've been talking about we got to take a trip to Nightmare because their artwork is awesome, their beer is awesome, and and if you look up Nightmare, they're based out of Long Island, and Schwim went to one of their anniversary release, whatever.
Yeah, it was a 3-year anniversary.
Yeah, and so it was off site at some other place. So I was curious, why wouldn't they just have it at their brewery? It doesn't make any sense. And then I looked further into it and read that they're a Phantom Brewery, and I was like, all right, I don't know what that means. So what a Phantom Brewery is, or a Phantom Brewer, is so Nightmare, for instance, will draw up the recipes to the exact step, milligram, milliliter of every ingredient and process on how to brew this, and then has a brewery brew it for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty cool, and the breweries make out because it's basically rental time, so they get paid to brew these Phantom Brewers beers, and then they can them and release them and distribute them. So
that's what they did with this anniversary with the 3 beers that they released. They were all this new set, this new brew. I mean, they're all. It's basically it was the first 3 beers that they ever did. Nightmare ever did. So they re-released them, remade them this year. They were all brewed and canned at the place that I went to go get them, which was great. I think it's called. It says it on the can too. Great South Bay Brewery in Bay Shore, New York.
That's where it was.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really pretty cool. I didn't really. The only one I knew of was for instance, a brewery like the Referend, which spontaneously ferments beers. They actually get beer from other breweries to spontaneously ferment. So they don't actually, although I do think they actually brew some things there, but they do get shipments of beer from other breweries. So I had heard of that, but the Phantom Brewer thing I hadn't heard of, and maybe I'm just late to the party here, but I thought that was pretty damn cool.
It is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I'll actually give you that. I think my talk about the podcasting producing was a little better, but what am I gonna do?
Wow.
I don't know how
right
many
back
people
at
agree
you.
with that.
A lot of people are probably not agreeing with me. Schwim, how about you?
So I'm also
Ooh, that
nightmaring
is
it
art.
because that's pretty
My
much all I
goodness.
have in my fridge right now. It's kind of hard to see with my light blasting off this, but this one is
Yeah,
called
that
Drawn
is
and
terrible.
Quartered. This is a Quadruple Imperial Ale, 10%. This is one of the ones I also picked up at the anniversary release. It's got I think it's four different types of hops in it. So I guess that's for the quad, but the artwork on it is so friggin' awesome. Drawn and Quartered, basically, I mean, we're getting pretty graphic with this one, this podcast today, but it was basically a guy back in, I forget when, very long time ago, how they tortured this dude, or how they killed him, actually. They would tie ropes to both of his arms and both of his legs and have four horses go all in opposite directions and rip his limbs off.
Yeah, I don't. What that might be the worst way to die, or
That's
one of them.
like if you look at all their beers, they give you a history lesson of the torture throughout history and all these different, and that's what all their beers are like. All their artwork and everything is based on, and they also so it's a pretty. I mean, it's dark and kind of crazy, but they give you a pretty interesting history lesson and cool artwork, and they also pair it with what death metal song you should listen to while drinking it.
I like that. I mean, you can
Pretty
listen to Barnida, and
not even close to death metal, but please continue.
All right, so I am drinking another alcoholic beverage from my sister-in-law that she brought back. This one is called Latitude Cero. It's a cerveza artisanal. It's called
Hey, I almost
Cataquilla
said that.
Roja Tipo Amber Lager. 330 milliliters, 4.7 alcohol by volume, and it's from Ecuador. So I will
When your
enjoy
white
that.
friends try to say Spanish words.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't say Roja or something like that.
Roja Tipo. Wait, what did I say wrong? Cerveza?
No,
it's a Roja beer.
Say it's a Roja beer. Yeah. It's pretty good. And then I also have always fantastic Dogfish Head. They have a distilling co. So they make culinary crafted cocktails. This is called Gin Crush, Lime, and Lemon.
Oh, I just had that the other day. Very good.
Very delish.
At the liquor stores, they usually have the 4-packs. There's like this one. There's blueberry lemonade. There's a strawberry lemonade. And then the other one is the one I had yesterday. Why am I blanking on what I had yesterday? The mango orange vodka one. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, they're really knocking out of the park with their distillery as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got some interesting things. I just tried, of course, we're still off topic, but I don't care. I just tried their Palo Santo aged hopped whiskey. I'm not a whiskey drinker, so it did hurt me and cause me physical pain. But I did taste the hops in it, which was just like such a crazy concept for a whiskey. I couldn't. Of course, I sipped a shot of it. I couldn't really get the Palo Santo. If you don't know about the Palo Santo beer that they make, which is aged in a gigantic barrel made from the Palo Santo trees, which they can no longer get. So that will be an obsolete aging mechanism in probably like 10 years or so. But
I thought if they could get ones that have already been taken down, not taken down naturally, like have fallen down. I thought they could get that. I remember it was on the tour.
No, they can't. They can't ship it. I think it's a whole shipping thing. It's not allowed to leave the country anymore. Anyway, yeah, I couldn't survive past the one shot to really analyze that flavor profile, but the hops you get, which was such a cool little experience. But
I have the rum, also very good, and then obviously Dogfish has all
their
the
gins are
liquor.
good.
The gin's fantastic.
All three
Sea
of them.
Mule might be my favorite mixed drink that they make. So, all right, let's get to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot.
Penguins.
Penguins. Nice.
Penguins.
Penguins.
By the we are
And
well,
Ungwins.
we are. I am watching the Rangers. They're currently up 1-0 on the LA Kings.
Yeah.
Chris Kreider scored his 30th goal of the season, which would put him in the lead by himself. He also has 15 power play goals, which is a crazy number, but and that shows you pretty much.
I
why
wasn't
he's been
crazy.
scoring
I wasn't crazy about that penalty call.
on Lemieux.
I wasn't crazy about a major being called.
He got ejected too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a 5-minute. Yeah, I haven't really seen it, but I just saw the goal. So our hockey our title, right? Hockey can do better. Hockey should be for everyone. I don't know. A lot of people, I'm sure, have seen this all over the hockey news. But you know, the Subban incident was it yesterday. The Bogo Hamama incident. It was the day before that, I think, where one of the players on another team, made a gesture that looked to be
A racist gesture.
Yeah,
That's what we
looked
call
like he was. That's he was. He says that he was Jacob Panada or Pranada or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm butchering this kid's name, but he made a monkey, arms wide gesture to PK Subban's brother. Why am I blowing on
Jordan?
Jordan, thank you. I was thinking of the other one, but anyways, Jordan. And he went after him, and for good reason. And you can watch the fight online. But it's instances like that, and also the Bogohamama with Christoph Ryback, who got 30-game suspension. Just enough's enough, and it's sad that hockey apparently isn't for everybody, and that's kind of what we were going after here. That there's a lot of instances where this is happening, and it's sad for hockey. And one of his teammates, Subban's teammates, came off the bench, Nico Blatchman, and just started fighting the guy, and he's gonna get a suspension. But it's one of those props to him for giving it. I just we wanted to put that in here that it's unfortunate that we have to talk about stuff like this, and that it can't just be a hockey show and be for everybody. Everybody enjoy listening it, and talking about just how good the game is. You guys want to add anything? It's just.
I mean,
I know
is
a lot
important.
Of podcasts have talked about it.
It's important to talk about. It's not something you should just, we should just breeze right past and be like, well, there's an incident. It was terrible. Let's move on to something else hockey related, because this is obviously it's affecting the sport. Obviously, it's affecting the nation, the world still. You wish that things like this would end, but they don't. It's an ugly stain on a sport, and obviously globally it's horrendous, but it's hard to really specify it to a single sport, because in the grand scheme of things, like, the sport doesn't even matter. It's the act, which is just so heinous. Like, I don't understand the mentality. And this isn't just something that, like, it's not like a spur of the moment oops thing. Like, this is ingrained in these people's minds, that is just their first reaction to an altercation. And I'm sure there was some kind of altercation, which happens in hockey. There's a lot of smack talk and whatever, but it's the third largest and the second largest hockey leagues in North America now, in the same week, and two instances in which this has happened. And I was actually listening to PK talk last night, post game. I don't know if any of the Devil fans caught that afterwards, but I visibly frustrated PK is, because he's heading this Hockey is for Everyone program, and obviously happened to his brother. So even more emotional. But what was encouraging that he spoke about was the amount of players, high-profile, big-name players that have reached out to him and the other players and people in that program to just ask questions, to get involved, to see what they can do to change, to just understand better. Because even like me, the three of us, we can sit down and have a conversation with somebody like PK Subban, and he even said this, and it's just like he can explain it to us, but we don't know, and we probably never will know what it actually feels like because it's just not possible for us to be put in the same situation as him. So it's difficult. I do like the amount of, he mentioned Crosby by name, McDavid by name, that have reached out to him just to get a feel and just to talk, have a conversation. And I think that's important to have these conversations. And I'm glad this program exists. I don't think it's just for glitz and glam and just to do something just to do it. It is difficult. They have a lot on their plate in order to actually make a change. But I do think that it is it's important for the league and it's important for people. And I know I can't remember the first guy with the first instance where he actually they have set up a program or whatever that he meets with them to.
Yeah, it's Christoph Hrebeck for the 30-game suspension. So he's supposed to, be a part of that. I guess
was he the one that made like the forced apology that he was just reading off a statement, or was that the other kid?
No, that was the latest kid.
The Panada kid. So this is from PK. But things are changing now. Not just the hockey world knows your true colors. Your hometown of Belleville knows. Your family and friends know you're a fraud. And this was all stuff he had talked about. Panada, the kid from that made the comment, made the gesture to his brother. But the incident occurred one day after the American Hockey League suspended Hrebeck for 30 games after he made a racist gesture toward Boko Amama of the Tucson Roadrunners in a January 12th game. People were saying give the kid the benefit of the doubt, and that they think that he's been doing this thing where it's like Tom Wilson did to the Rangers when he beat the crap out of Panarin. But even if that's the case, three guys in a row have made the same gesture. Why, have some awareness, right? Have some, understanding.
Yeah, how do you not know at this point in time that that's not appropriate, good? Not good. Like I've got worked up and frustrated in moments in games that we've played and with people of different races that never once has it crossed my mind to make some sort of racist, horrible comment to them. I mean, I've made horrible comments, but not racist. I've used other expletives that start with the letter F, and
we've used some on this podcast before.
Yeah, we have. But it's just it's a mindset. You have to know. I don't know how you don't know that that's not okay. And there's no excuse for it. I don't care what these kids say. I don't care what kind of apology they give or say after the fact. It's during the moment, and I know stuff gets heated during a moment and stuff like that. It doesn't make it should not be. It shouldn't even cross your mind, no matter what. So it's I don't have any sympathy for these people.
And I guess before we get to the next, before we transition a little bit, just Jordan Subban's tweet from yesterday. He mentions the player's name. He was too much of a coward to fight me, and as soon as I began to turn my back, he started making the gestures at me. So I punched him in the face multiple times, and he turned like the coward he is. There, fixed it.
Good.
And that's a shame that he has to, feel like he has to fix it himself. And I'm sure it's years and years of frustration and the same, and other things happening. It's pent up, and every right to go after Pineda.
It's probably been happening to him his entire life or career.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it has, but I can guess that this wasn't the first time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the other kid, Boko, it happened at his at the draft first, and then he got it's happened to a bunch of times. Elliot Friedman had talked about it.
Former Tampa Lightning.
Isn't he still a Tampa Bay Lightning prospect?
No, he was traded.
Oh,
that's okay. San Jose. San Jose.
Yeah, I
can't
think so,
remember.
right? He's on the
Yeah.
Barracuda or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
no?
Barracuda, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But he's a friggin' monster. Like I wouldn't even want
He's
to.
a beast.
He's huge. I
Yeah,
wouldn't want
he's
to
No, we
get
talked.
him angry in any
We
way.
talked about this. We talked about this personally about how somebody can say it to him because that's just ingrained in their
Callous.
system,
Yep.
and that's a generational thing that has been learned. Superiority,
Yeah, they don't know it's
So
they don't see it as wrong. They don't see it as
No.
inappropriate or wrong or just it's they think it's no big deal or something to call somebody that. It's like calling somebody, I'm going to
jerk.
dumb it down. Yeah, calling somebody a jerk is the same
Yeah.
thing. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's hard to transition off of this, and we obviously our we really
I mean, we can
respect Subban. Yeah, it's tough to do. It's I was gonna go to
Trim's
something a little happy.
crunching is a transition enough.
Pretzels, baby. I finally remembered.
Yeah, Keith Yandel, 964 games. He beats Doug Jarvis's Ironman streak.
I thought he's tying it tonight.
Or it is tying tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, and Kessel's like right behind him.
23
Yeah.
games behind, and just to get to where we are numbers wise, so 964. 23 games behind that would be 941, and then the next closest person is Brent Burns at 639. So like that,
Wow.
Ironman streak and how it just can
It's
be very difficult
amazing.
to do is pretty cool. Yeah,
Yandel, that's amazing, especially now during COVID and everyone's, coming up positive at some point or another. It's amazing. He's still
illnesses
injury
and
everything.
Injuries. It's pretty impressive.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. Good for him.
Yesterday,
What's crazy is that Phil Kessel is one of these people, because you would think that when you think of an Iron Man, right? Just picture an Iron Man in your head, right?
And then Google
like
Phil
the
Kessel's
picture of health and nutrition and just taking care of yourself, just like an athlete. And then Phil Kessel, there he is.
Yeah, it'd be the equivalent of me getting podcasting.
Yeah, exactly.
Record. Funny tweet I saw yesterday was 1 year ago today. Pierre-Luc Dubois was sent to Canadian Ohio, and Patrick Laine was sent to American Manitoba. So
yeah,
very good. All right, so the Yandel stuff, good job. Yes. Also, this past week, Krebs and Buffalo, Peyton Krebs beat the Flyers. So I'm gonna go transition to the Flyers. Chuck Fletcher.
Oh, jeez.
He was to have a state of the team address.
Speaking of horrible, okay, there we go.
Yeah, who's on the way out for you guys? Who do you think? It's obviously Giroux. There's rumors about the Leafs and the Avalanche as well. But who's on the way out and who's untouchable for you guys?
Untouchable. Well, for us, or who do we think? Because I think,
who'd you think?
Absolutely who's on the way out. Giroux. Well, I mean, if they can, I'm assuming they're going to trade him because he's a UFA, correct?
Him and Ristolainen, aren't they both
Ristolainen, yeah. Both of them will go. Both of them will go. Who else was I naming? Can't remember. Couturier has a Couturier. Hey, JVR Van Riemsdyk.
Van Riemsdyk's a good one. Ray Leo says Carter Hart.
No, I think what's his face could be traded. The other one. That was his name.
Elliott?
Martin Jones.
Oh, Martin Jones. That's right.
So I think he's a UFA.
I don't know.
I
don't know about. I think Carter Hart needs to be traded. Because he's been put in such just an awful situation to develop, and
yeah.
I honestly don't. The Flyers are such a disaster right now. I mean, you could make an argument to scrap the entire team, and no one's untouchable.
Konechny, I think Provorov, Morgan Frost, Oscar Lindblom.
What's his name? The
Sanheim.
I can't think of his effing name.
Cam York.
I'll get to it in a second. But
the forward Atkinson.
Farabee.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Farabee is another Another good player, but
I
I
think
mean
Farabee is
they
hurt.
have some skill. It's just they have some skill and they have some decent players, and I just don't know. What the hell are the Flyers, and like what are they trying to be? Because they had generations and generations of the Broad Street Bullies, which I think if they try to go back to that, I mean it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Like those types of teams just don't exist anymore. You have just a handful of teams that are heavy hitting and skilled, like the Capitals. You know, Winnipeg, I guess, could be one, and St. Louis. But it's other teams that try to mimic it. They don't. They're not consistent and they fail.
Yep.
Speed and skill is like the number one. I mean, it's why Tampa has won back-to-back Stanley Cups. It's why Pittsburgh won back-to-back Stanley Cups. St. Louis, of course, won in between there with their style of play. But even them, they had to get fast and skilled mixture of the two. So I don't think they can go back to that. The fact that Bobby Clark blamed basically all of this failure on Ron Hextall, I think is complete nonsense. So I think they really need to, before they start, thinking about how we're going to revamp this roster, they need to figure out how they revamp the whole organization from above the roster and all the way up to the top. Because right now it's whatever they're doing or whatever they're trying to create is just not working.
I mean, they still have monster contracts. You got Hayes' contract. You got Couturier.
Yeah, he's one that
Couturier.
They could try to trade him somehow. I think that would be good.
Couturier is 29, and he's got like a nine-year contract remaining. It's craziness. I know Claude Giroux is a free agent at the end of the year, and it sounds like they're going to lose their captain. I mean, you got guys like Derek Brassard, who a lot of these guys should be pretty much off the team.
They can go, but guys like that, you're not going to get. I mean, what are you going to get for Derek Brassard? I mean, you'll get
even if it's a seventh-round pick,
mid-round pick. Yeah, I mean they'll get some. They can collect a couple mid-round picks for these guys. Giroux obviously will get them a nice payout. I don't know what Ristolainen will get you at this point. You might be able to find a sucker who'll give you a first-round pick for him.
I think you would. Yeah, 27-year-old defenseman.
He is just a minus machine.
Him and Chikrin.
Sure, yeah.
He's nasty.
Minus 10.
He's a big hitter. And, he's got that sandpaper, which maybe somebody would want to put that in a bottom pair role and kind of hide him from those, hide him from those, top pair matchups where he's made a career of just being a minus. So obviously that's not working.
They were saying Toronto was in on guys like Ben Sherratt. Obviously, Ristolainen would make sense if they're going for something like that. Ray Leo says he'd like to get the JVR on the Devils. Obviously, I think he has another year left, but I mean, it's not terrible. Going through some other things, Jeff Merrick was saying that the Yotes have an offer for Chikrin already, and I guess they're still mulling to see if they can get some other people. Still no news on Evander Kane. Edmonton and Washington are still technically rumored to be on them, but I guess the NHL is kind of playing it close. Close
they're
to the
still
vest.
doing their whole whatever. I heard something though that they're supposed to be hopefully figuring that out possibly by tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. Clark Gillies obviously passed away this past weekend. Islander. Former Islander great, four-time Stanley Cup champion. Four-time Stanley Cup champion. So we wish him, and his family, thoughts and prayers. I had some stuff on Brad Marchand, and just a little bit. So obviously don't like the player, but love him stepping up for players and for being a voice for the players. Whether it's the Olympics and him talking about how he, thinks that players should retire and then not sign the papers so that they can play in the Olympics, or be put on waivers to see if they play in the Olympics. This past weekend, he took a kid's phone while on video and recorded something for him.
I saw that. That was funny.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this too, but he took a shot at Carolina after the loss that they had for the Willie O'Ree night. So Carolina won, and on Twitter they were gloating that they're gloating that they won. So he he just tweeted him back that they're the reason players pay 20% escrow, referencing that they're small market and revenue makers compared to the Bruins. So I thought that was hysterical as well.
They were going. Marchand was going back and forth with them before the game too. They were saying they said stuff about him or something like that, and he compared them like to a Prius or something, and he's a Lambo.
Yeah, a Lambo. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Like I said, I don't like Marchand as a
funny.
player on the Bruins, but he is a very good person to have for hockey. And networks, when he retire, are going to be fun. Trying to get him as much as possible. Just emptying the books. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a rumor that the commish is fighting for the Coyotes to stay because it keeps the salary cap down. That having a team in Arizona keeps the cap down, and that's the reason why he keeps having.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, that's why they've been, fighting to keep him there, I guess, all this time when it was so obvious they needed to be relocated freaking years ago. Yep.
I referenced the Marchand and the Olympics thing. Players have actually asked if they can retire, to play in the Olympics. Obviously, the NHL could put a kibosh to that. One of the guys that I saw, rumored was Victor Hedman, who played a great game. Where was it last week? Right, Trim? They skated 4 D-men due to COVID/injury, and
COVID and cap constraints. They couldn't recall 2 guys because of their cap, and they had to play with 4 defensemen.
Yeah, and Hedman loved every minute of it and was hands down the best. It was one of the best defensive performances.
He was phenomenal in that game. He had 2 goals.
How many minutes did he play?
He played over 30, I think.
30, like 35 or 36. He could have played all 60. I think he would have been okay with just having played a 60-minute game and just having him as the only defenseman.
one D-man and
17 forwards. Yeah. There was something that said Letang and Malkin both want to play 4 more years. I would assume that'd be for the Penguins. But Steve, what do you think? Would you want them to sign 4 more year deals? A 4-year deal each?
Well, of course the number, right? Letang looks like he could easily, right? I'm still waiting. Malkin's he's still recovering and coming back. He still has 7 points in 7 games. Has he played now?
Yeah.
He's a point per game. I know that. So, I want to see him retire Penguins. It's just, of course, at this point, I don't necessarily know that Letang should take a pay cut because of how well he's playing. Of course, Malkin, who knows, right? Because he hasn't played. He's been so hurt and, slow to get back. So I don't know. We'll see. I actually, if they both sign for 4 years, I'm totally fine with it. But of course, the number has to make sense because they need to be able to, they're not going to be the focal points. Like, they're not supposed to be the big money makers on this roster in your late 30s. So, but I'm okay with the term as long as the contract, the numbers, as long as the money is lower.
If you could only keep one of them, which one are you keeping?
Probably Letang, right?
I think I would go Letang too. And try to trade Malkin.
I mean, are you going to tell me that both of them are staying healthy?
No, with no promise of health. Like, at this point,
I mean,
who do you resign? But I do think they're going to. I'm fairly confident both those guys are going to resign. It's just they'll be, however they figure out the term and the numbers. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm fairly confident those guys, they want to stay. I mean, those two and Crosby, they want to retire together. They really want to. And unless, this new management team, Ron Hextall, unless they really, screw them or don't want to work with them, and they're basically forced to leave, I guess that's the only real way to do it. But they do have a couple other, they still got to sign Brian Rust if they want to sign Brian Rust, although he might go. Evan Rodriguez is another one who started off really, really hot, but he hasn't had a point in the last 8 or 9 games or something. Down. Yeah, I mean, the lines have been shuffled repeatedly. So he was in for a big pay increase. Depending on, I guess, how the second half of the season goes, we'll see with him. But they do have quite a few UFAs to figure out before the season ends.
And Tom, Schwimmer was talking about Teddy Bluger before this. That
Do you see the hit yet, Steven, or no?
Yeah, that was part of why, part of.
I didn't like that at all.
Brendan, I was going to say, the Brendan Lemieux boarding major tonight. It's absolutely a penalty. I don't know that it's 5 minutes though. Lindgren, right? He hit Lindgren, who wasn't hurt on the play. It's absolutely boarding. Wow.
Artemi Panarin. No. Wait, what? Artemi Panarin either scored or all the lights went on, but
hit the crossbar.
I have no idea.
Either way, so I think that was a minor. Meanwhile, Brendan Dillon basically decapitates Teddy Bluger, and there's not even a penalty called. Like, it's not even the argument of it. Well, was it a minor or was it a major? It's 100% full contact to his head.
Yeah, it was bad.
When stuff like that happens, and somebody can look at it real quick, that should be called down. I think when it's something as bad as that. And the guy's out for 2 months now, or however long it's gonna be. He just had surgery, I think today or yesterday or something. And he's gonna miss 6 to 8 weeks. I
think that should be they can goal, right?
They can look at these things. They have the video capabilities to look at these things so quickly that if the refs don't call it and it's something so blatant like this, the guy got
That's the problem.
Directly in the face.
It wasn't. The problem is that the four of them. First of all, that was one of the most.
They didn't even talk about it.
Beat writers from. No, well, they gathered to talk about it, but you have beat writers from Winnipeg and Pittsburgh, both going and tweeting about how absolutely abysmal this officiating was in this game for both sides. Both of them agreed that both sides it was atrocious. But the fact that they obviously can't review it because they decided no, it's not even a penalty, as he leaves a trail of blood from the boards in which he was hit to the locker room.
The guy's got a fractured jaw.
I don't understand. I do not, and it's 100% initial. Like, it was all shoulder to head. There was no other part of his body that he hit, and not even a minor. Nothing. Totally fine. We're totally cool with it.
Did they say anything about reviewing that? The league reviewing that hit?
I have to look.
I haven't heard anything.
I didn't. No, I haven't heard anything about. I'll look up while we discuss other things. But it's just. It's this league.
You know what I'm not even mad at? I'm not even mad. I'm more mad at the refs than I'm mad at Dillon for the hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
as bad as it is.
Yeah, he's
out
6 to 8 weeks.
Exactly. So there you go. Like, I'm more mad at the refs for not. It was like right there. So I'm pretty sure the ref is like right there in the corner with them when this hit happens. And nothing. I don't know. I really don't know.
As of earlier today, the league has not announced any supplemental discipline for Dillon.
Should be discipline for the refs.
There you have it. There you have it.
Yeah, there should be discipliners. All right, just get on to a little better subject. The Rangers, both Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman were talking about how they think that Chychrun could be a good piece for the Rangers, as well as they're hearing that they want a forward and a defenseman, so that makes me kind of happy. I
heard LA is like really trying to get him.
LA, I heard Anaheim a little bit, and who's the other one I saw? There was one other one. It was LA, Anaheim, LA, Anaheim, and the Blues. All into Chychrun. So 3 interesting questions I have for you guys. So the women's U.S. Hockey team, which will play in the 2022 Olympics, features, Hillary Knight, Kendall Coyne Schofield, fantastic roster. Maddie Rooney from 4 years ago. So I guess my question to you guys is, I think this is going to be a better watch than the men playing, because they're still talking about for the Canada's roster, but women's hockey is going to be fantastic this Olympic break. There's one player from Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, Abby Roque, who they did ESPN did a pretty good write up about. She's just below Canada's border in the upper tip of Michigan's peninsula. I guess, what are your thoughts on the women's hockey this upcoming Olympics? What do you guys?
I mean,
what do you
I'm
guys think is
excited for
better
women's hockey regardless. Regardless of the situation. I mean,
excited for
maybe they can be put more in the spotlight. I mean, they deserve more spotlight, especially those U.S.-Canada matchups, man, are like
Awesome.
pay-per-view events.
They're awesome.
They are
Yeah.
awesome.
They should be on like NBC
And,
on a prime time.
nationally televised, yes, of all the time, because they're that much fun. But yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's actually kind of unfortunate that they're like, well, people are gonna like, now it's exciting because there's no men's hockey. There is, but because there's no NHL rosters in the Olympics, that women's hockey is now going to be something to watch. I think it's always something to watch. It's always great. I always enjoy watching it. Like I said, always those U.S. Canada games. So I'm just as excited to watch. I hope they get more attention. They've deserved more attention, and I hope they do get it with this coming Olympics. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited to watch.
Hillary Knight's set to become the oldest U.S. Olympic women's hockey player in history. 32. They have two teenagers, Caroline Harvey, Abby Murphy. Yeah. Two 19-year-olds that played in the U18 World Championships, where Brianna Decker served as their assistant coach. Abby Roque, which is the member of the Wanapitei First Nation, will be the first Indigenous woman to play hockey for the U.S. at the Olympics.
That's awesome.
And Hillary Knight thinks that she's going to be the best player in the world, very soon. Since 2018, 5 members of the 2018 gold medal winning team have retired. That'd be Megan Dugan, Jocelyn Lamoureux Davidson, Monique Lamoureux Mirando, and then Casey Bellamy and Gigi Marvin. So I was looking forward to women's hockey. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Especially since our team looks so freaking good. Like, I definitely want to watch that.
Did you guys see the Claude Giroux shootout attempt? It was 2 days ago.
No.
He took a clapper. He took a clapper from the high. So a lot of people are asking if they thought he quit on the team or whatever with that. But I started to look at some other things, and there's plenty of players that take clappers on
Stamkos
shootouts.
took one in a shootout.
Stammer. Apparently, Zdeno Chara did it one time. Could you imagine being the goaltender
winding up
and having
my God.
at the top of the circle? Thomas Vanek was another one that has done it a bunch of times. So I think actually clappers on shootouts are kind of fun. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think they're hilarious. Anything that slaps on a breakaway or shootout, and if they score, it makes it even funnier. As long as you hit the net, it's better than friggin' some of these awful dekes that these players make, where they don't even get a shot off.
Very true. All right, so everybody, last thing before we head out, unless you guys have something else, but the 2003 NHL draft. Now, when you look back at that, it's ridiculous. One of the best drafts of all time, probably maybe even the best. Guys like Marc-Andre Fleury, Eric Stahl, Nathan Horton. You have Jeff Carter. The names go on and on. So who do you guys think is going to be the last man standing from that draft? So a couple names that are still around. Obviously, Fleury, the number 1 pick. You have guys like Ryan Sutter, who was taken 7th overall. Jeff Carter at 11. He went to the Flyers, but now he's currently a Pittsburgh Penguin. Hugh Jessamine. No, I'm joking. Dustin Brown, who's the LA Kings assistant captain. I could make fun of myself. Zach Parise, former Devil, now a
Islander.
Yep. Getzlaff, captain of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Brent Burns, still around. Guys like Brian Boyle, Corey Perry, and the list goes on. Louis Erickson, still around. There's a couple guys, Patrice Bergeron, Shea Weber, No, sorry, Shane Weber kind of retired. So I guess
Poor
who would
guy.
be your bet to be the last man standing?
That's
think-
a great
I think I go
question.
Bergeron.
Also, Joe Pavelski. I forgot about Pavelski.
Pavelski's a good one.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him or Bergeron right off the bat.
Yeah, that's the two good ones.
Bergeron is definitely, he might be the favorite, I think. Fleury's going to play, he'll
I don't want to
play
pick
a
a
little
D guy 'cause
longer.
he'll get hurt at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, Carter is still going. Getzlaf, I think,
Yep.
depends because he's obviously wants to stay in Anaheim. Carter, I think, will. I hope he stays with Pittsburgh. To be honest with you, at least another season. However long he wants to, because he's been like that effective for that team. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about some of these guys you can see playing like another 2-ish years, but I don't know. Bergeron is just.
I think he's going to keep going.
To me, I'm like, when you name all the players from that draft and you include Bergeron, that actually surprises me. I would have thought Bergeron would have been like a 2005, 2006.
And he was a second-round pick, by the way, too, which is even more ridiculous.
That's nuts, yeah. Wasn't Pavelski super late
Pavelski,
too? Wasn't he a late round pick?
He's also not slowing down. He's going. I mean,
he's been freaking awesome on Dallas.
Yeah.
Pavelski was a 7th rounder.
There you go. I'm going to pick either one of them. And I'll default to the American, so I'm going to go Pavelski.
See, I was going to take Marc-Andre Fleury. I think that he could do it. And my dark
I don't think he wants to, though.
Yeah, maybe. My dark horse is Brent Burns. I think that, the guy played forward and then he kind of, settled at defense for San Jose. And I think maybe he's longevity too. I mean, he's got that 600-game active streak. Who knows if he wants to keep going with that? I don't know. I thought it was
pretty good picks.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good question. Just stat-wise, obviously, goal leaders now, Chris Kreider at 30, but we also had Ovi and Draisaitl at 29 before today's slate. Ovechkin still 58 points, is number one along with Draisaitl and Huberdeau. Just the fact that Ovi and Huberdeau are there is pretty cool. And it's not just a Draisaitl McDavid competition.
McDavid's like not even in the Hart conversation anymore because how bad Edmonton's been.
Yeah,
wait, I mean, crazy.
Horrendous.
He's got 55 points, and Draisaitl's got 58, and
they're not in the
they're
combo
both ridiculous. Yeah. Goaltending, Freddie Anderson's doing really well. Same with Shesterkin and Tristan Jarry. Plus minus leaders, Devon Taves. I wouldn't have thought that he would be the top guy, but Colorado, he's killing with Kel McCarr.
Colorado's a damn juggernaut right now.
They are fantastic. All right, one trivia and we'll head out. Who was the last player to win the NHL scoring title before Gretzky, Lemieux, or Yager?
Oh, jeez.
This person won it in 79-80.
Jesus.
Oh, puppies. I'm distracted. Why are all the Rangers carrying puppies? And oh no, it wasn't the Rangers.
Awesome.
I think they were Capitals.
Capitals? Not awesome.
Yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
K9 night.
I'm distracted. I don't. What was the question? Oh, who's scoring?
Last person to win the scoring title before Gretzky, Lemieux, and Yager.
Schwim.
When was what you said? It was 79-80.
Yep.
Holy shit. Trying to think here. Somebody in the 70s. I don't know. Mike Bossy, I don't know.
He had 137 points. His name is Marcel Little Beaver Dion.
Little Beaver.
Yeah, apparently, according to Google, Marcel Elfage Little Beaver Dion is a Canadian former professional ice hockey center who played 18 seasons for the National Hockey League for Detroit, LA, and New York Rangers.
Okay.
He's a 92 Hall of Famer. You guys want another trivia, or are you guys just done?
Hit it. I want another one. That one sucked.
The Suter family had how many boys play in the NHL?
Jesus.
And how many captained their teams?
I don't know. 5.
I'm gonna go 7.
It would be 6. How many
Damn.
captained?
Oh, look at that. Right in between.
Yep.
3.
Damn it, I was gonna say 3. 4.
It is 4. Dwayne and Rich never
Yeah.
captained teams. They're the shitty Sutters. So
Yeah, you suck, Dwayne.
you guys suck. All right. Well, I mean, just we're starting to get a little crazy here. So,
We got hockey to watch tonight. There's lots of games on.
hockey to watch.
Oh wait, what was the I heard some Vancouver hired like the first ever female assistant general manager or something. Crap, I should have looked it up.
I don't know that one.
I just saw it.
I'm trying to hit the music, but it's not working. Can you guys hear music?
Putting his name on the producer. I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't hear
Somebody's
anything,
fired.
surprisingly.
Somebody is axed.
Oh, there it is.
I didn't do that.
Did Sam just have to step in? I think Sam had to step in. It just did it.
I have no idea. All right, so my pre, I'll give it 3.75 too.
I think it might have 4.25 maybe. 4.25.
Mine's a 4. Yeah, I got it real quick. I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. Emily. I'll spell it Castonguay. First ever assistant general manager in Vancouver.
Cheers.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Congrats to her. We'll end it on that note.
Yeah, my shitty podcasting skills. Adios.
Yeah, way to be team.